open this up. Anyway, it's Steph, as you know, and I am here to say hi. Um, how was everybody's Memorial Day weekend? We went to see the grave of one of the boys we lost in Afghanistan in 2010 during this surge. He's from one of the mountain towns north of here, and went to pay our respects. One of Rudy's guys. So we did that, and Rudy's out looking around for some stuff. I just played with the dog, and now I'm back. So Drunk 3PO is reporting that John Boyega said that he'd come back to get the team together with Kathy and JJ for Star Wars. Hey, Grandmaster Jim, if anyone actually think that that's a real thing, if you honestly do, you can leave right now. All right? He's not saying that because he wants to come back. I mean, he's saying that because they're trying to save Kathy's reputation. All right? And give her a soft landing. This shit's happening fast. Okay? When I saw that, I'm like, oh, fuck. Shut up. And I asked somebody about it, and he said it's bullshit. So it's if it's not Boyega, who went after Kennedy for hiding him, again, Hammerfiston, for hiding him from the Chinese because they're racists. You want to solid Memorial Day to you too. You know, so him giving her a pat on the back is cringe level bullshit. Okay, so let's go a little more. We've got other things to talk about. Let's talk about JJ, okay? Or not JJ. We'll talk about JJ in a minute. So you guys know that I've been following Pablo. Kind of put it out there that someone should ask him straight out if he's still working at Lucasfilm. And weirdly, I can plug in my computer. Weirdly, you guys, he basically said something that was a little bit hey Dave, revealing. So let's go look at that. Now, this was not part of my idea. Okay, I haven't seen a hashtag or anything. So I've got no idea who I don't know. I don't or what. So there you go. But we will go look right now and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. All right, there we go. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. It is going to be very interesting. No, I don't want to log into Twitter. Just go away. Stop bothering me. So, it's very interesting to me where this is. On here. When did he? All right. I think he deleted this. Oh no. Let's look at this because I think this is it. So you're going like this. Okay, here we go. So without further ado, You all tell me what this means. Read that. And then look at what he says back. Why don't you marinate in that for a little bit? Guys, let me explain. This came out of the blue. I'm shocked, like I said, if you confront him and he doesn't say anything or is an asshole about it, you know, that would be Pablo. Through his entire Twitter thing, he has been he sounds defeated. He's reminiscing. Then we get this. There you go. I mean, this fucking moron, but Ray doesn't have a father. So, I'm going to say this right now. The subtext of that is he's on his way out, and so is Kennedy. Okay, that was a huge admission. I didn't expect him to say anything, or I expected him, you know, basically tell whoever was going to ask him that, you know, to F off. Or, you know, he'd be a smart ass, but instead we get that. After more than 20 years, I don't have any particular plans and don't know hers. If you read it out loud, it's really quite fascinating, you know, what's been going on. And again, it's not an official admission, but, you know, someone went in there and asked a hard question, did a fine job of it, I might ask. I love this. When Kat Kennedy leaves Disney Lucasfilm, will you be following far behind Pablo, or are you going to leave beforehand? Might be best. May the force be with you. Let me tell you something. The guy who posted that is a fucking badass. That was like, dude, you know, you get a little, you know, little Aussie fingers for me. Rock and roll. It's indirect and it's not. It's in your face and it's like, you know, yeah, he's gone. He is leaving. And she is too. I mean, I almost don't need any more proof. Okay. Now we just wait and see. And the fact that he said anything publicly is huge. It's fucking huge. Okay. I want you guys to understand. This is not going to be hidden. You know, this is not going to be hidden. Okay, this is rumbling down the highway, and I honestly don't think that like this idiot talking about Ray's father. Who is this clown anyway? Anybody know? I mean, what does that even mean? Ray's father. Ray's father is a clone of Palpatine. Okay? I mean, think about the brainchild, the brains behind all that. And, you know, I'm sure, you know, Pablo will say, I wanted her to be a nobody. It's Star Wars. She can't be. Okay? You can't democratize the Force. Okay? You can't make the Force, you know, equal opportunities. Okay? It's not. Great people don't have to have the Force. So that was wrong. Okay, now, kids who are born with force ability, does it run in families? Yeah, look at the Skywalkers. But does it have to? No. But to take a franchise that was based on the name Skywalker and turn the hero or heroine, avatar for Kathy Kennedy, into a Palpatine is bullshit, okay? It's bullshit because it literally changes the entire meaning of the stories. Now, these idiots talking about Rey's daddy and kissing dipshit's ass over the High Republic. It's Clown World. They don't know what Star Wars is about. Let's go further because he posted a picture or more pictures. Um, uh, he posted a picture of like all of his books, and they're all EU reference guides and EU novels. So he gets thanked by This Day in Star Wars for, shitting all over the EU, but he's got all the books and uses them. Mazuris likes to say that he's nothing more than a glorified librarian. He was nothing more than a glorified librarian for George, and I think he's right. I think he's right. And we got the real Neil telling Pablo, "I have all 5 books." He's the only guy who bought any, by the way. That wasn't named Scholastic Company. But it's really interesting to me. Okay, we'll find it. I mean, I want to show you this because when you look at, okay, I'm like, okay, whatever. Okay, let's go further. He's reminiscing. He's talking. He's chatting himself up a lot. He retweeted this fucking bitch. Man-hating cunt. I was talking about Yojimbo and the Mandalorian. Dude, get away from there. It's really just interesting to me. So I wanted to tell you guys this because it's very surprising to me. This whole public discourse he's got going. I don't know what to think. I don't know what you guys think, but the fact that he's okay, let's look at this one. Ali Cortez. You wake up as the head of Lucasfilm. What's the first thing you do? Fire the story group. Discontinue the relationships with all of the writers and comic book authors and artists and start all over again. Decanonize everything they wrote. Everything. Every fucking thing. In fact, the person who would get a one-on-one meeting with the boss is Pablo. Yeah, I mean, look at this. He's what you look at the whole thing, and you got to understand a lot of this is subtext. So, I mean, and I'm going to tell you this is what I think is happening. Is they're not giving him a pink slip. They're being forced to leave. All right. And, we've got him not following Star Wars, Marvel, or Disney anymore. We've got him with that strange admittance about, working working at Lucasfilm for over 20 years. You know, I think the way it looks to me is that he's leaving. Howdy, Matt Piranha. And I don't think the people who are smart, I don't think the people reading all this are smart enough to understand that it's, I don't think they understand it. So my thing is this. It's going to be June tomorrow, June the 1st. And we're going to have a lot of stuff going on. Okay. It's Memorial Day, but this whole month is going to be quite fascinating. I think quite busy for Star Wars fans. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When it's announced, and if he publicly could say that much, it'll be public. We're going to get hit hard because we're going to get blamed for it. What was Obi-Wan's thing? You did that yourself. And I'm going to tell you guys something. If it happens, and now I honestly think it is, if it happens, we are going to see a lot of people kind of feeling bad, including me. It's one of those things, at the end of World War II in Europe, and, the feeling of joy and celebration was everywhere. But my dad told me that he went to a quiet place and kind of reflected on everything. All right, the 31st is tomorrow. Are we okay? The 31st is tomorrow. Sorry. And I reflected on everything. Hey, Troy. And he was happy, but it was a bittersweet. I think so, Red October. It was a bittersweet celebration. I mean, if you think about it, the guys that were in the middle of the fight, who, fought the Nazis on the land, on sea, in air, like my dad, who's a radio operator in B-24 Liberators, they saw a lot of guys die. I mean, if you saw a B-24 get shot down, that was 10 guys on that airplane. Okay? That's like almost a squad. That is a squad. Okay? His best friend was killed at St. Lo when they were breaking out of the beachhead in Normandy and starting to cross France. The U.S. Army was popping through what they call the hedgerow country in Normandy, and went to St. Lo, and Roy Young was killed there. He was my dad's best friend ever since Dad was, like that big. Came from La Crosse, small town boys, hunted together, fished together, got in trouble together, snuck into movie theaters together, probably did all kinds of delinquent things together. And that really hurt my dad. It really hurt him bad. A lot of that stuff. So I don't really think it matters what the war is, whether it's an actual firefight or something that we have been going through for the last 4 years. There's a moment of celebration, but there should be a moment of quiet reflection, because what happened is a tragedy. Okay? What happened? You had people who had the chance to celebrate Star Wars, and they didn't know how to do it. Or if they did, they decided to just shit on it. They attacked the fans. The idea that you could be proud of the High Republic is ludicrous to me because it's trash. It's fucking garbage. Okay? It's shit. And the idea that anybody could be proud of it is, but that was their offering, the High Republic, Soylo, a Soy War story, Aftermath series with Chuck the fascist Wendig writing it. You know, they couldn't see past their own hubris and realize they weren't bigger than Star Wars. Okay? Oh, Red October, I don't honestly think that that's the problem. I think it was Lucasfilm itself. I mean, think about the people who perpetuated this and attacked the fans. It wasn't Disney. I'm going to be saying this. I don't think Bob Iger knew what the hell was going on until he started snooping and he was like, you know, I don't think Bob Chapek knew until he got in there and started looking around and went, it was the employees at Lucasfilm itself. You know, we had people at, on Disney Publishing, Jennifer Heddle, attacking fans, and auxiliary like people like Brian Young and Geek Girl Diva, etc. A Vader fanatic attacking fans for them. But it was mostly Pablo. It was, Ryan Johnson, Pablo's wife, Matt Martin, getting involved with things like, rewriting Ripley, defaming people, etc. When they could have been doing their job, when they could have been, thinking, we've got this, we have to do a good job, not only because it's our job to do that and it's expected. You're right, Brooks, you're right. It's not only that, it's your job and you should do a good job, you should try. It is also, I mean, Pablo just said he's worked at Lucasfilm for 20 years. Why would you go out of your way and don't say you didn't know? Turning Luke into a mean old man, Han into drunk deadbeat dad Han Solo was the way George would have wanted to go. And don't sit there and say it's for kids. No, sorry, George said it. I'll say it again. Star Wars is for everybody. Okay? So the idea that I'm not supposed to get mad, that other people aren't supposed to be upset, is bullshit. The people they expected to buy the merchandise and go to the movies over and over again didn't. SJWs, they don't go to Star Wars. They don't like Star Wars. They like the idea of jumping in there and shitting all over the stories. Because white man bad. And the people who should have been, we can't do it this way, we need a plan, JJ. The people who should have known better were fully on board of decapitating the entire franchise. And I will never understand the logic behind that. It's not like George Lucas is a raving Republican, Yeah, the tide is turning. The tide is turning big time. And I mean, I talked to him about this yesterday and this morning. I sent him that John Boyega video that Drunk put up, and he's like, it's bullshit. They're trying to save Kathy's reputation. No, TLJ didn't fracture the franchise. TFA did. Okay, you guys are way too stuck on Luke. If you didn't see what was going to happen to Luke coming after what they did to Han, you're blind, and you better give Solo his due. Okay? All right? It's not all about Luke. Again, wasn't for Han, the entire Rebel Alliance would have been wiped out in the first movie. Okay? All right? Are you listening now? Good. What they did to Han and Leia in TFA was fucking criminal. Okay? They didn't have a plan. They didn't have a good script. They just stole shit from A New Hope. Okay? It was garbage. Absolute fucking garbage. And I'm gonna say this. JJ, when he came out and said we didn't have a plan, I should have had a plan, is trying to protect his own ass. Okay? Because he doesn't know what's gonna happen when Discovery takes over Warner Media. All right? He could lose that big deal that he wrote, that he got for Bad Robot into, so he could dismantle and disrupt the DC universe. I mean, people have to understand Luke might be the main character, but everybody was important. Okay? Everybody had to be there in a certain place at a certain time. And Han was as important as Luke. Because, hey, you know what? Han doesn't show up, Vader kills Luke. Death Star blows up Yavin 4, there you go. Okay? Sorry. That's what happens. Luke wasn't a Jedi. He had his dad's lightsaber and that was it. He didn't really know where to begin. Okay? He couldn't, Vader, he couldn't fight Vader and do what he was saying. Oh, I know he said that. And there's a reason why Larry Kasdan can't work with George Lucas. Larry Kasdan thinks, I'll write this down and the director will do it no matter what. When he has to write somebody else's vision, and then he gets his ass seared, like when he went in to finish up Lee Brackett's script. Well, if they do that, if this Favloni verse goes forward and we get a big thing at the end, I think that's where it's gonna take out the sequel trilogy forever. Somebody was asking me on Echo Base Network, well, what about this? All leads to Snoke. And I'm like, did you miss episode 6? Did you? Let's recap. The Alliance now has Moff Gideon. They have Dr. Pershing. They have all the research. They have Grogu. They have everything. Well, somebody else could get research. Who? It doesn't matter. If the Alliance has this part of it, it's over. Okay? If there's something else they're missing, trust me, they will find it. They've got Luke who can read people's minds. And if a weak-minded fool isn't giving up info, he could just jump in there and find out for himself. All right? The sequel trilogy is being dismantled. Okay? And it has to be. Because no one wants it. Disney doesn't want it. They're putting they're doing a Mandoverse at Galaxy's Edge. I will bet $1,000 that you will see Batu's name be changed to Navarro or something, okay? It's happening, all right? Look at what's going on with Pablo. You think anything that he's put his fingers on is going to be there as part of the canon after what he's done? Again, it's a tragedy. He didn't have to, I mean, he should have been there for another 20 years. He had the absolute perfect job. And instead, he smeared crap all over Star Wars. He put a bunch of political SJW bullshit into it, attacked the fans for complaining, and pretty much acted like an unprofessional asshole. And then complained while he's acting like a 10-year-old that we shouldn't care because it's for kids. But you're acting like one. Your Snoke Theory sucks stickers. What? But you're telling people they shouldn't like Star Wars now because they're older and adults. But you're running around attacking them with Steele Saunders' stupid stickers. I find that very interesting. He's got all the self-aware. My dog is more self-aware than he is. I'm not kidding. This is what you get. Again, this is what you get when you have people who don't care about what they're doing. All right? And they didn't care. If you cared, if you had a plan, if you cared about what you're putting out there for the fans, if you understood that the fans are very sophisticated people, oh yeah, I mean, but this guy has been treating fans like shit for a long time. Ever since Uncle George walked out the door. My first contact with him, 2017, before TLJ came out, and everyone's in an uproar, what's going to happen? And a friend of mine, a very young guy, not 20 years old, was on Twitter and was asking him questions, and also John Boyega. And Boyega got pissed off at him for some reason. And I saw what was going on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that. You should send that one to me. I jumped in. And after I did, Boyega kind of backed off and went dark. He is not a very smart guy. He's loud. He doesn't know when to stop. Okay. But Pablo went on personally attacking my friend. And I walked away going, there's something here from what Jeff at World Class Bullshitters has said about him. So I started keeping an eye on him. And behind his phone or his tablet or his laptop, he is a vicious bully who has absolute no respect for anybody. And, I know that he wasn't the one making all of the decisions, but he made decisions on the High Republic, the novels. He egged people like Chuck Wendig on, and he followed and retweeted rewriting Ripley. He has trolled people on YouTube. He has basically made Lucasfilm look like shit to the fans, right? He doesn't get my respect. And this reminiscing now and acting like, I love Star Wars. What do I say? What do I say? You can say whatever you want, all right? It's what you do that matters. And what he has done has been atrocious. The cherry on top was what he said about Star Wars Theory. I can't imagine how pissed off he was at Steele Saunders, because that fake bastard was on YouTube with a reaction, crying like a bitch, and he was very happy with The Last Jedi. See how that works? Now do you understand? And it didn't have to happen if Pablo had acted like an adult and really, if he had really cared about the franchise and what he was doing and who was going to be, it didn't have to happen. And here we are. I don't know what to say. But when I crack that bottle of Rosé Clicquot, you guys have seen it, I'm going to be celebrating the end of a war. And I'm going to be happy, but it also makes me quite sad and quite, because all the money that was wasted, all the people that have been hurt, and it didn't have to happen. And it's Disney's fault for not realizing who was representing them. It's Kathleen Kennedy's fault for not paying attention, and by not being directly involved. I'll tell you in a minute, Jim. Not being directly involved with the day-to-day operations of Lucasfilm and seeing how it was being represented on Twitter and online. But it's also the actors' fault. And I don't mean the actors like whatever. I mean the people who are actively doing this. Henry Gilroy, Hal Hickel, the contract writers, Justine Ireland, Christina Ariel, Andy Gutierrez, with their fanboy tears mugs. It's all their fault. It's Pablo's fault, what's happening with him. He did this himself, to himself. It didn't have to happen. He could be very happy, working on whatever he was doing with a good, solid bunch of novels and all the rest of the stuff. Instead, we get I don't know. All right, do you think soon? I don't know, Vader Fanatic. Gravemaster Jim. First off, I'll probably, if I don't, I'll probably say that Clayco for Kennedy. So I don't drink bourbon, I don't do any of that stuff. I drink wine, I drink champagne. Sometimes I have some vodka around here, but that's it. Her show wasn't canceled. If it was canceled, it would have been Disney doing it. Jim and Dave did it. Dave and John did it. It's basically, from what Doomcock said, it's a bargaining chip to getting Gina back. All right, which, like I said before, Star Wars is bigger than one person. And if you are so upset about her being fired, that's fine. But if Kennedy's gone and all the bad actors are gone and she's unwilling to come back for John, you know, I won't be pleased with her. All right? I won't. Because a lot of you guys are fans of hers. You guys want to see Cara Dune. I want to see Cara Dune. I think for the efforts that we've put out for her, she owes us too. Okay? I'm not putting myself out on the line, dropping nasty comments into threads on different official Star Wars videos and stuff on YouTube and Facebook just to be dissed by somebody because she's carrying a grudge. People who carry grudges after winning the day are bullshit. Okay? I'm telling you that right now. She owes you guys. And if she doesn't come back, recast her. That's exactly what I would do. Because we deserve good Star Wars, whether she's there or not. Okay? And what they did to her was wrong, and I would fight to the end over that. But if she's offered phone call from Bob Chapek himself saying, Gina, we'd like you back, we talked to your agent, blah, blah, blah. And if she says no, after all this shit's gone and all the bad apples are gone, I'm like, I'm done. I want to hear it. All right. I don't put I don't put myself out on the line to be back to have that shit happen. Okay. You know, fans and actors have a symbiotic relationship. And that I didn't know who the hell she was till she was in Mandalorian. Okay? She owes Jon Favreau a lot. She owes us a lot. Okay? But you know, we just gotta see. Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. I thought karate stick. You know, and they will make it worth their while. You know, I mean, you know, she might be a big name, but if you look at her resume, it's still kind of light. I mean, she's not rock level celebrity status, so you know, they'll take care of her. They'll take care of her. But yeah, that's exactly what I said, Gridmaster Jim. I said I said the exact same thing he said. I said John and Dave shelved it and basically went to Disney. We're not going to make this until you get Gina back. So it's up to Disney. All right. And, you know, all that shit with Gina. And Pablo was deep into it. He was the one that probably started the hashtag Fire Gina Carano. They think they're so fucking clever. And that's the thing. It doesn't take a darn rocket scientist to figure out where all this shit started. I mean, I don't understand. You know, they're thinking because it's like, really, guys, really? Are you kidding me? It's just fascinating to me. And you know, last night I looked on his Twitter and I read that and I was like, holy shit, he's really going. And he basically blurted out that so is Kennedy. Yeah, well, and it's karma. It's karma. Which is why, you know, we shouldn't really celebrate this. You know, we should be thankful it'll be over soon, I think. We should look inwards and see where we may have failed ourselves, where we let our tempers get the best of us, said things we shouldn't have throughout this ordeal. And, be better, okay? I think this is a lesson for everybody. If you have something, you're working on something, you're basically living your dream, don't take it for granted, which ultimately is the biggest sin here. You know? Yeah, and that's the thing, Matt. Celebrating what is to come. All that money, all that money, all that money Disney could have had, gone, gone. Yeah, and don't take it. Yeah, and Mazurs is right. And when they're gone, they'll try. They'll try. But I think it's going to be very interesting going forward what is going to happen next. If we get George back at least in a financial role where he has more control over what's going on, I'm sure, I'll bet you $1,000. He was the one that said Pablo's got to go. I'll bet you any money. We celebrate what's to come. And we have to remember they did that themselves, these people. Kennedy did that herself. Pablo did that himself. All these other people who caused so much trouble and grief. And it's going to be a hell of a struggle for John and Dave to get the fans back. No, Grandmaster Jim, I think it's over. People say, well, Kennedy knows stuff about blah, blah, blah. Do you think she might have used it already? You think it might be too late? You think that she would have used it last year or the year before? Okay? See? I don't think she has anything on anybody. Or they have worse on her. I heard rumors about a Me Too involving her. And her being the accused, by the way. All right? That's just a rumor. I don't know if it's true. Lots of stuff you could attribute to angry fans making shit up. And of course, it's Hollywood. So, what would shock us? Would that shock any of us? Not me. I'm impervious to being shocked anymore with these people. I really am. I mean, they can't do anything that would make me go, oh my God, anymore. There are good people in Hollywood and there are bad people in Hollywood. And there are people who don't give a shit and just want to make money. All right, and that's the way it goes. And she's one of the incompetent people in Hollywood who, got her place in life because she knew how to network. Knew how to network. That's it. Doesn't matter if she's competent or not. She knew how to network. All right. Pablo, got his job after she was, became one of her people, I guess, and then failed miserably. You don't hire Chuck Wendig and think the fans are going to be happy with his behavior. You don't hire Claudia Gray and think the fans are going to be happy with her behavior, her Twitter behavior. You just don't. And here we are. All right? You don't come up with the High Republic and think everyone's going to be. You don't. It's garbage, and we know it. And I'm sure deep down in Pablo's heart, he knows it's garbage. Okay? Yep, Mad, you're right. And that's the only thing that should be considered as talent, not, you know, pronouns and skin color and preferred sexual partners and all the rest of that shit. That's just made up bullshit. You know, this is going to be really quite the way forward, I think. And okay, and like, you know, you guys said, we're going to celebrate what's to come, but I do not celebrate seeing a guy lose his career because he did. You know, he could do a podcast, I guess, over this. But again, he did it himself. He did. And that's pretty much what we have to understand, is that companies like Disney don't like not making money. And eventually, Bob Iger, losing my voice now, and Bob Chapek were gonna show up and go, all right, what's going on? God. So, anyway, yeah. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, you know, again, it's the fact that Disney can't go back and get that money back. It's gone. All of it. All the money they spent is gone. And they don't have anything to show for it. They're in the red over it. And that's the problem. And when I start thinking about the money, you can ask Mazuris. I thought this is where the worm is going to turn. Because Disney is not making any money on this. And eventually, someone is going to say, what the fuck? And it took COVID to speed the process up. Think about that. I am literally sitting here going, it's taken a while. Yeah, the money is gone, but there's more to be made. But, you know, you know what I'm saying? It's sinful. It's a crime what was allowed to happen. And that's, again, partly Bob Iger's fault, partly Kennedy's fault. And, you know, because they let people like, they will be, you know, allowing, you know, because they allowed people like Pablo and Ryan Johnson to abuse the fans. You know, it's a tragedy. It really, really is. And it's going to take some sort of announcement that attaches George's name back on it to get people back to being interested. All right? And I mean, when you got people who are longtime fans so upset that Gina got fired that they've just walked away, first off, that's spoiled brat behavior. That's weak sauce. Second of all, I mean, what do you want? I would, if it's true, grain of salt. If it's true, it should change fan perception. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you know, the black pills among us are sadly mistaken about how this works. And they're sadly mistaken about where this is going to go. Oh, thanks, man. And it's sad for them. You know, you start, when you start thinking about how can this change, the only way I could see it was the money guys going, wait a second, and then Iger taking a closer look, and then Chapek, who has no ties to Kennedy, going, why the fuck do I have to deal with this woman and all this shit? You know, I want to make money. This franchise should be going gangbusters. You know, how much money did they spend on High Republic? How much? And now they're talking about phase 2? Why? It's trash. You know? Um, and I know that it was planned out years in advance. So it's all pretty much gone. But it's like, did anybody think that a whiteboard talking about dinosaurs and diversity and whatever else they had on there that was stupid, the fans aren't going to like it, and then we don't? Anybody think about that? You think someone at Skywalker Ranch would have been looking at that whiteboard going, what the fuck? What the fuck? I don't know. I think it was $1 billion, at least in California, and then they spent another $1 billion having to tear it down and rebuild it because it was against code. Yeah, the whiteboard is exhibit A of incompetence and apathy and, let's troll the fans worse. Get a bunch of writers who don't have any fucks to give about Star Wars. I mean, when Claudia Gray has the ovaries to say her boyfriend came up with Geode, really? And then you got Pablo inserting himself not only once but twice into the High Republic. What a legacy. What a fucking legacy. Anyway, I'm losing my voice. I gotta go. But I wanted to put this out there. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right, Mad. It's just really interesting how all this is kind of winding, coming to a kind of an end game. But we just gotta sit back and watch. So I gotta go because my husband's gonna be home soon, and I gotta go run out and get our pizza. So anyway, I gotta rock. You guys be good. You guys behave. See you around the galaxy.